Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Hannah. Hope everyone is doing well, and if you're hearing anyone in the background, it is my fun because it is nighttime for me. Alright guys, so this video is entitled The Story Behind the Emotions, or the reason behind the emotions. A lot of things can happen, and our emotions or feelings is how sometimes we react. It determines our reaction, and a lot of things happen where sometimes people go through different phases because of how like the how do you call it, like I would say, like certain things really causes damage, and like that damage sometimes it causes you to react ways that you don't really want to, if that makes sense. And often I realize that words really hurt, and I'm speaking in general. Words really hurt. It might seem like a very little thing, but it causes really big damage. And also it drains you. You might think that you're just joking around, or maybe just saying a little thing, but to that other person you do not know if you're literally draining them or what exactly you're causing, because you never know how somebody really feels, and you never know what they really struggle with. Many times people struggle with battles, silent battles that no one knows of. And sometimes the sad thing is that sometimes many times they take their life because of the pressure of it. And not just the pressure, but it's like society looks at it as, like, they always criticize it, like they look at certain problems as so little that they don't realize that they are draining and suffocating people more, and they're preventing them from really speaking up, because there's always judging and criticism, and it's like pressure, bullying, and so much more. So it's like, and again, I believe like people like joke around too much with people's issues, problems, etc., and they make jokes out of it, and it's just, I don't like that, honestly. It's just so heartbreaking, because you might think that it's just a joke to you, and maybe to the people laughing at it, but really it's not, because you're tarnishing their being, you're tarnishing their name, you're tarnishing them, you're draining them. And if they're already feeling a kind of ways, like you're just digging them more, like you're just pressuring them more to do things that they don't want to do. Sometimes you might see someone lashing out behind somebody, or like if somebody joke around with them, sometimes they lash out so hard, like you might think like, oh, it's just a joke, I was just joking. Nah, sometimes they reach to that point where like it's like they reach to the point where they are fed up, and like you might think like it's just a joke to you, but to them it's like you just destroyed them so much. It's like they're so fed up, and of course you just look at like the emotion, like the reaction, but you might not know the story behind that emotion. You might not know the reason behind that emotion or that decision. Sorry. Because okay, let's look at rejection as an example in general, right? Many people suffer from rejection. People always ignore them. People always uses these phrases where that they always tell them that they are not enough, or like they always critique everything that they do, and it's like never good enough for them. For certain people, that negativity keeps running in your mind, and sometimes it's so hard to consume it because that's all you hear. It's like everywhere you turn, that's all you hear. Sometimes you're so pressure, like it's so much pressure on you that sometimes you might see someone react, or like you might react a kind of way, and then like the first thing that the people will look at is like your reaction, but they don't try to understand what's the reason or the story behind that reaction or that emotion. It's like they judge you, that person is so rude or so disrespectful. You have to know, learn the story behind the reaction before you judge them as that reaction or that person because of their reaction. Because you might think it's just one thing, but honestly sometimes it's like they have reached that point where it's like just like they're just so over it. So of course when you push someone to their limits, of course that they will explode and like they will burst out, because it's so much. People don't understand that people has limits. You have to understand the just now I'll have to drink a sip of water. 1 second. Like I was saying, you have to understand the story behind that issue, not issue, the reaction. Because one thing, it takes one thing before it actually becomes a habit. And if you do not have nothing good to say, according to the song, just keep quiet. Honestly. Because you might think it's like something good, or like it's just a joke to you, or it's just something little to you, but sometimes you are literally draining that person. And sometimes you might be surprised that you are the person that literally like push them to that point sometimes to cause suicidal. You never know the limit someone has or the limit that they are on, because you might think, oh, I'm just joking around with that person. I'm not just joking. There's why I'm stressing on the joking, because you might think it is just a joke, but in reality it's like just a gateway to damage, total destruction. Because you're literally draining them. You're draining them down so low that if you really have to sit down and listen to how they feel, you will regret even joking around, because you never know someone's struggle until they tell you. And sometimes they might hide it just because they do not want to tell people, because again they keep judging, they keep criticizing. It's like society is like they just focus on, I don't even know, that they focus on everything else, that they don't realize that the real cry for help is those people that is trying so hard to hide emotions behind a smile or behind a laugh. There's so much rejection, so much ignoring, so much cut off, so much bad things, so much traumas, that sometimes people are even afraid to walk on the streets. You know why? Because they're really struggling. Like the first thing that they are looked at as their struggle, or like maybe they're a bad person, or that person think that they're so in it, or like they're not simple business but there's like a moon. I don't know, so much criticism, so much word, so much negativity. Guys, please, let us be a little bit more gentler and consider feelings, because we never really know what someone is going through until we hear their story, until we hear the story behind the emotions. So stop judging them just because maybe you see them explode, because you do not know, and sometimes you cause them to explode because of what you say. It might sound so petty to you or so little, but to them it's like a big wall because of their struggle. Guys, you do not know someone's struggle until they tell you. So be careful, because you might think that you're just joking or just like it's just a little thing to you, but literally you're just causing so much destruction. And sometimes it's not that they want to lash out. Sometimes that's not really who you are. They are gentle on the inside, but it's because they have been hiding sometimes the emotion inside for way too long, and that it's ready to burst out. Like it's like they kind of hold it in and like they just burst out, and then it's like sometimes they feel bad because of bursting out, but then like you just look at them as like, oh, that person is so mean, or just a joke, and like, you know, it's like just causing more harm. Sometimes because of so much pressure, the emotions, sometimes you look at them as something that they're totally not. And then maybe later on, if you hear something about that person or like their life story, you then say, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have said this, I shouldn't have done this to this person, or I shouldn't have said this about this person. That person is not who he was that there. Stop judging someone because of what you see, like that chapter, that moment you see or you walk in their lives, because you do not know, you just know like that 1 second or that one moment, but you do not know the person, you do not know their lifestyle, you do not know them. So this is my little video. Please like, share and subscribe to my notification bell and stay tuned for more videos. If your girl Hannah, and your girl is out. Peace.